So if a neuroscientist who operated as a clown at night and a behavioral psychologist who was a private investigator had a baby, that's me. Now, I know some of you are lawyers who light up the club at night. I even knew a pastor once who was a part-time pimp. I'm not judging anybody here. I know we all have multiple identities, and sometimes what's driving us, we're not even aware of. So much of our behavior is unknown to us. So much is driven by mysteries in our unconscious mind. I came up with a concept called arouse to apply neuroscience and behavioral psychology. And the root word of arouse is ruse, to awaken. And I want to share with you the sheer power of awakening people out of their slumber of a box. Connections happen because why are you connected to the people you connect with, to the countries, to the jobs, to the opportunities around you? If I ask you why you are absolutely in love with the person you're in love with, do you even know? The latest research into the neocortex, which is over 50% of the brain, which is the thinking, mapping, strategic part of the brain, suggests that every time you meet someone or you gravitate to anything that you absolutely fall in love with, whether it's a car, a person, a country, you're bonding and connected to it is primarily because of a group of neurons in the neocortex that become like a mini brain. So you have a brain for the person you're connected to. You have an extraordinary set of patterns to the person, to place the things that you love, dedicated to that person or thing. What's most extraordinary is that this force in your brain is dedicated solely to this relationship. And so, when you meet someone, your hands start to go like this in your mind. And this person comes together and you create a bond. I want you to do this for me. Do this with me. And this bonding happens in the mind first. You can let go now. One of the things that I'm obsessed with is helping people think about the complexity of things like biases. Biases, we were onto something with implicit biases. We all have them, but we didn't go deep enough. There was another level. And this talk is designed to help you rise above that limiting negative thought that somebody has a bias to think about the mystery and the beauty of who we are. One of the reasons why we avoid other people, one of the reasons why we navigate towards sameness, that we navigate towards people who look like us, who behave like us, who pray like us. One of the reasons why we go to the same restaurants and order the same thing. Anybody guilty besides me? One of the reasons why we navigate towards familiarity is because we are not sure who we are. We are confused about why we're drawn to certain things. We are uncertain about so much about who we are. Research out of Canada, Queen's University in Canada. They take males, females, they take humans, and they wrap around the base of your genitals a device called a plethysmography. And they show you erotic images. And they want to see what you are aroused to. What are you rused to? In fact, they use for men who abuse young babies. They want to see if they lie about it. They do this test where they flash images of young children to see if you become aroused by them. Because they want to unpack the mystery between what you say and what you're moved by. It's one of the most extraordinary things. If you were in a relationship and your partner said to you, would you go through this test? If they flash an image of me, and if nothing happens, would you stay with this person? We are highly, highly confused about so much about what drives us as human beings. And I'm absolutely obsessed with getting to the root of it. Because at my core, in my research and my work, I want to demystify the complexity of what's moving us in our brains. Ruse effects play out in so many different ways. I remember I was asked by an insurance organization to travel to 7 cities and to inspire their audiences to consider how they think about their legacies. The audiences in those 7 cities didn't know who I was. And so I got a different reception from each city. One city that I went to, there were 300 white women. And so they introduced me, I stepped on stage, and one person clapped. Now, because I understood ruse effects and I understood the neocortex, I understood it possibly didn't have a little mini brain for me. So my job was to create a ruse effect. They weren't being racist. These women were between 50 and 70 years old, and they just didn't have a pattern in their brain to connect me. So I got up and I told a story about my grandmother, and I told a story about the farm that I grew up in, and before you know it, I saw their arms start to relax. I felt them come alive. I felt them become woke to me and the possibilities of what I was sharing on stage. And I saw them sitting on the edge of their seat. Afterwards, we had a book signing. I had tons of books, stacks of books, and they queued for my book, and there was 2 elderly ladies in their 70s who came up and said, I'm going to buy your book, but before, are you single? Because I want to introduce you to my daughter. How do you go from I can't even clap for you to I want you in my family? You do it through ruse effects. I want to suggest that every single time you go into an environment, you feel microaggressions, you feel frustration, you feel that somebody's not connecting with you, it's possible that you just need to create a little brain in their mind that represents you and your genius. The extraordinary power of who you are may not be represented in everyone's mind. It's possible that the pattern, what we call patternicity, haven't developed for you yet. And maybe the opposite has also happened. That the pattern someone has of someone who looks like you doesn't represent you. And so I want you to ask yourself to be a little bit more kind to the mysteries of what drives you. And I also want you to consider that the person looking at you may be one ruse away from being woke towards you. The Japanese have one of the most extraordinary ways to help you awaken. It's called Shinrin-yoku. Shinrin-yoku is translated as forest bathing. I call it nature bathing. The next time you feel like you are confused about who you are and what you're about, the next time you feel like you're not sure why you've been driven by what you're driven by, what you are attracted to, quieten the noise. The next time you are frustrated with a colleague who just doesn't seem to get you, the next time somebody's pushing you away, I want you to go first before judging them and spend some time in nature. When you spend time in nature, it creates more what we call alpha waves. It calms the mind and helps you come alive. Find a garden, find spaces where you can just ground yourself in nature. And after you come alive, have the strength and courage to help someone else come alive so that they can connect with you.